Connor, I made you a speaker, and I'd like you to come up and speak if you could.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
You're good.
yeah.
You're on.
I'm not too sure if I'll be echoing. I've just had to come into the back room because the dogs are just going crazy.
You're fine.
I've been, so I was on the laptop earlier, so I couldn't actually speak. So I've just sort of been like listening in to what everyone's been saying, basically. Firstly, the theory of the water, I think everyone can dismiss that straight away. My mum's a vet, and I heard someone mention about dogs' behaviours earlier. There's absolutely no way if she'd have took her dog with her that the dog would have left. It would have either jumped in the river with her, or it would not have moved from the river. Like, that's an absolute fact.
Oh, the sniff.
Someone say.
I think the weasel account there keeps coming on the mic.
Oh, right, okay. No, right, but yeah. So I'm not really too fussed whether I sort of like reveal things that I shouldn't really reveal. Like, we live in Ellswick. I'm not too sure if you people are familiar with the area of where Nicola's from.
I've scoured that bloody map so many times.
Yeah, we're literally 10 minutes down the road, and I'm, like I said, I'm really not bothered about it. Like, I will say whatever I basically want to say, really. So my mum and a group of friends, they'd always go and eat at a restaurant called The Ship. You can look this up online on Google Maps. You can find the place. It's literally 10 minutes from where they live. And as the host was saying earlier, like, this is everything. Like, my mum's got absolutely no reason to lie to me about anything. She's told me all of this in, I won't say confidence because I'm saying it to you guys, but I don't really think she'd be too bothered if I said it anyway, because the whole thing's just it's crazy, really. But so they'd go out for meals, they'd make it like a once, maybe twice a month sort of thing, just to sort of like get together and stuff. And the amount of times that she'd be on a phone and people would be saying, like, what's going on? Are you okay? And she'd look flustered. She'd just sort of given off the impression that everything's not okay, basically. So I find that weird in itself. Another thing, my nephews, they all seem to play at the same local park. And there's been times where the kids have just outright refused to go home. And that is obviously, that's weird in itself as well. Like, I've 1,000,000%, like, in regards to me saying to where I'm from, like, I can prove this to anyone. I can show you letters with my address and whatnot. Like, I'm not just saying this, and I wouldn't just say this. But that, to me in itself, like, that strikes me more than anything, the fact that the two kids would just be outright refuse to go home, or they'd ask, oh, can we go to my friend's house? Can we go there and play and stuff like that? Like, that strikes me as just, it's scary, really. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, I have been listening over to what everyone's been saying. I don't know if anyone sort of wants to ask me anything or anything like that. But yeah, I'm still sort of like catching up with everything that everyone else has been saying.
Do you have any theories yourself, Connor?
It's hard to say, really. I don't think she's dead. If I had to stick my neck on the line, I don't think she's dead, but I just think that the whole reason that she's not obviously here anymore is down to him. Babe, that's just, like, I could go around the local area and just earwig people's conversations or ask people what they think. And
is that the general vibe?
If you mention his name, the facial expressions of people, the demeanor would just change instantly, as if like they're sort of saying like, oh yeah, shit, I agree with you, but I don't want to say that I agree with you, sort of thing, if that makes sense.
Was this the case?
Have you met him, Connor?
Yeah, sorry.
Say that again, sorry.
Have you met him?
I've not met him personally as such where you'd say like, oh, I met you okay and stuff like that. Like, I only moved back up here. I've lived here for around, if you want to class it as sort of like, I moved away with my partner for a bit, but I've lived around the area for 18 years. I was away sort of like bit part gaps due to work and just other things like that. But it's not he's not someone I'd sort of call like someone that I've had like a personal relationship as such. Like I wouldn't see him and be like, "Oh, right, mate, you're right. What's going on?" and stuff like that. He's just sort of one of them people that you know from the area and stuff like that.
What's your impressions of him, just generally?
It's one of them where, like, you wouldn't ever think things of someone like people might be thinking of him now, but when all of this sort of come out, it's sort of like, Jesus Christ, like it sort of like adds up. It's really hard to explain. Like you'd need to. It's just really hard to explain. Like,
Connor, before anything came out in the public, was that vibe about him in the area still the same?
Right. So this is another thing as well. My mum and a friend, they'd asked him if you ever need help to look for him. I think this was 48 hours after it sort of become like knowledge to the general public. And they asked him if he wanted to go and search. And this was them going to his house and asking him if they want to search, just checking up, general checkups. Obviously, at this point, I don't think really anyone sort of had an inkling that he could all be involved and stuff like that. It was just sort of like, oh my God, I hope everything's okay and stuff. So he was asked if he'd want to go and search, and he refused the search. And on that same night, he was in the pub absolutely shit-faced. And that is a fact. That is the God's honest truth. And I know you could probably say like, oh, well, some people might turn like it's one of them things. It's like a stressful sort of thing. I could imagine that if it was like 3-4 weeks down the line where you're thinking she's never going to come back. But this is literally 2 days after she's gone missing and stuff. Like for me, I wouldn't have slept for 2 days if I knew I was innocent and that it was something had gone amiss. Like I wouldn't be in a pub on my own.
You may get shit-faced, but you wouldn't be in the pub, would you? You'd be...
Yeah, like you'd maybe go for a drink with a friend. Or
just drink at home and, maybe to help yourself. But you go to the pub.
If anything, I can't see. I just can't fathom why you do that, really.
I must add, Connor, that two people that don't know each other, that are local, I don't know if they don't know each other, but they have corroborated to me that he was indeed at the pub and that he has been seen and that the locals were talking about it. So
I can swear on that because it was my friend had FaceTimed me and he asked me, didn't your mum and a friend go and ask if they wanted to do a search earlier on? And I was like, yeah, how come? And then that's when he said, look at this. And he turned his phone round and he was just absolutely gone. He was.
What could I ask you what pub? You don't have to say, obviously, but I'm curious. You can decline and it's absolutely fine if you don't want to give that away.
No, I'm not. Well, I don't know if this might seem as like a coincidence or something like that, but it was the place where they used to go for meals.
The ship, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What do locals think about these revelations about her being unstable and an alcoholic and things?
She's not an alcoholic. Like, I don't know if I know you could always sort of say like, oh, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors and stuff like that. People can always put like a front up and stuff like that. But just from what I've been told, I can guarantee you, well, I can't guarantee you, but I'm 99.9% sure that she isn't.
Well, from what was said, from what was said about your mum going out for meals with her, she declined drink sometimes. She didn't want to drink. So that's not the behaviour of an alcoholic, is it?
Well, that's exactly what I mean. Like if you're a straight up alcoholic, you ain't.
You drink. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. So it's sort of hard to explain really, but it's just like when you see like the look on people's faces and stuff of like how they react to it when you bring his name up and stuff, it's just like, whoa, fucking hell, excuse my French.
It's like a big collective thumbs down vote.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Connor, can I ask, what's the feeling with Emma White when her name's mentioned?
Yeah, it's the whole. I think if she wasn't involved with the what's it called? Oh, it's gone out of my head now. The thing that she made. It's gone out of my head now. Say that again, sorry.
Is this the bed and breakfast thing or?
Oh, the GoFundMe.
Oh, the GoFundMe. Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah. If that had basically never had happened, then I don't really think that anyone would really sort of. It's not something that I really know too much about, if I'm honest. Like, I'm not going to sit here and it's not really something that I know too much about. But I think people have just started sort of, when that come out, it's like, whoa, what's going on there, sort of thing. But I wouldn't, personally myself, I probably wouldn't really look too much into that.
She didn't seem to get the same reaction from people.
That's just my opinion. I think it was just to me, it just, well, but even then again, like, what would you need 100 grand for?
Well, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything bad in it, if I'm honest. I thought it was a kind gesture, maybe ill-judged.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it was probably like a fourth. Well, I don't know. I think it was maybe harmless at the time, but then she didn't realise, like, shit, what could people think here, sort of thing.
I just saw it as she's done that in case she's dead and he's going to have to try and pay a mortgage off.